Alright, guys, we are live.
Okay, sure. So, hello everyone. Hopefully, I'm audible. So, again, welcome to the second day of the Android Study Jams. And today, so actually, I'll just go for the introduction. So, I'm Chirayu. I'm in the core team of GDSC TSEC. And today, for the second day, we'll have Chintan and as well as Tane for the second day of Android Study Jams. So, Tane is a third year computer engineering student in Thadomal Shani Engineering College. And additional to that, he's also a member of Mad Club TSEC, and he also has been developing native as well as cross-platform apps for more than over a year. And as I, someone who knows him personally, knows how passionate he is about things he likes, and this being one of them. Also, again, if you have any doubts throughout this session, no matter how small it is, just shoot in. You can put all your queries in the YouTube comment section, and we keep on coming to them. And don't worry if you miss any of these. We'll come again to the comment, and I think I'm done. Over to you, Nathane.
Okay, so hello everyone, and good evening to one and all present here. So today is the day two of the Android Jam, and today we will have a look at building the UI with Android using XML. So, okay, Chintan. So, what have you all planned for today? Can you just give them a brief overview of whatever you would be covering today?
Yeah, sure. So today we have
I think your voice is breaking.
Is it proper now?
Yes, yes, you are audible now.
Is it good? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, yesterday as we learned about the Kotlin basics, so today we are planning to learn about the UI part in Android. So like whenever you see any of the mobile application, they all have two main functions, which is one is the UI part and another is the actual code where all your logic is written. So today we have planning to learn the XML UI in Android.
Okay. So, uh, what all do you plan on covering today? Will you be building? Will you be building some app, or will you be building a clone of some popular Android app, or can you just give them a brief overview of whatever you will be doing?
Right. Yeah. So today, what I was planning was, we'll learn something about the fundamentals of all the basic components, and then we'll try to use few of them to create a like my card, which we can call it as a visiting card, which we generally have. So we'll have some kind of profile picture in there, then your name and whatever stuff you do. So we'll try to incorporate all those things and put it into a app in a UI.
Great, great. I think we can get started with it right now.
So yeah, thank you guys. I will just start my screen sharing so that we can have a look on the basics part. So I will start my screen share. Okay. Yeah. Hope my screen is visible. Can you screen? Okay. Can you share my add my screen to this layout? Okay.
Uh,
Great.
I think it's visible. Uh, yes.
Okay. Great. Then, okay. So today we'll be learning about the layouts, but before that, I wanted to show some fundamental components and parts about the Android, like how does Android work? like, and how the applications are built and what all the components are required for an overall complete application. So we can we as we are going with layout part today, so I would like to show first the resources part. So what are the resources part? So anything which is related to your UI and doesn't involve much of the logic. It's more like a styling and theming part, which we would be having look today. So how does this Android app is structured? So generally, as yesterday we mentioned that whenever we are starting to learn something, we always should first opt for the official docs and resources which are available. So again, yesterday as we mentioned, developer.android.com is the official platform where you can find all the documents and like code labs and everything related to Android dev. So today we'll see like how does a simple project represent. So since once you have your app name, whatever is that, so like my project is my app name, then you will have two places. One is src, which is kind of source folder, and res, which is the resources folder. So in src, what will be there? It would be your actual logic and actual code, which is going to do the operations and network calls and all those stuff. And in resources, you will have your drawable is nothing but your icon and background and all those things.
Images, right?
Yeah, images, basically all those images and vector files also, and
Vectors.
related
Right,
to,
right.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then we have this layout. So layout will contain your actual UI layout, which is this to be shown to the user, like whenever you open any application, like as in WhatsApp. So when you open a WhatsApp application, you can see a list of chats on your screen. So that is composed into a particular layout file, which is stored here, which can be with any name. And then we have map folder. Map folder, generally we keep the Android's launcher icons, like since launcher icons can vary from devices to devices, and also it has to support different modes and all those things, so that we keep it into the map thing. So map generally we won't use much in the project, but it is for storing your Android icons, default launcher icons basically. And then we have a values folder where we keep our strings files and all. So what is strings file? So basically whenever you have some string resources, like a piece of text which you are showing on your phone or on your application to be precise, so that string is stored into a separate folder, because we should avoid hard coding or just putting down values everywhere. So instead we can put it into a central place, and then what we can do is we can reuse it whenever we want in any of the application, or like any of the classes or layout files or anything.
So
So yeah, this is,
yes,
yeah,
so we
this is the basic
generally
project
store
structure.
all our. Yes, yes.
Yeah, Tani.
Okay. So as I was saying,
So
uh,
we
so we generally store
Mhm.
all our strings and uh, all the text inside the string.xml folder. So can you tell them the
Right.
reason why we do that?
Yeah. So primary reason, as I mentioned, like suppose you have a string which is saying like something went wrong. So now there would be many places where you would like to show that string, like in your main chat list file, in your chat window file, in your profile picture upload file. But now what if we keep writing something went wrong everywhere? So there are chances that we might make some mistake, or maybe in future if you want to change all the places, instead of something went wrong, you want to put some other text. So that time you will have to manually go every places and replace. So that can be first problem. Second problem would be like since you are hard coding it, and you are storing same instances, like same part to the multiple instances, like same thing is there, but you are keeping it multiple copies, which is not recommended when we are building any app. So we generally we opt for reusing component. So again, we should reuse strings. And the main advantage is that, like, suppose if you are building an application which is going to support multi languages, like multilingual app, so in that case there would be no chance that you can keep a hard coded string, because as per the user language selection or maybe whatever language they are preferring, at that time you will have to support your this string. So for that, strings.xml can be beneficial, where you can generate English, Hindi, and so other languages.
Yes. So I think we can move
Yeah.
ahead. Yes.
Yeah, sure, Tanay. Yeah, so any participants, if having any doubts while we are going through some learning or maybe even live workshop, feel free to ping into comments. So Tanay will address your queries and will be answering it.
Yes. Yes. So far, there are no doubts, and I think we can go ahead now.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so now this was the some basics part which I wanted to show you when before heading towards the layout file. You can read more about these resources here in depth if you want to know about how does the resources exactly work and all those things. But for now, let's start with the layout. Okay, so what is a layout? A layout is like a primary structure for your UI part. So whatever you see on an like mobile screen is everything designed into with the part of UI, uh, which is mostly XML. Like since if anyone comes up with a question about Compose, so yeah, Compose has started, and so it's like, but the native part which where we will be writing UI previously and until today, even most of the companies it's XML based. So we are focusing on XML. Compose is definitely coming up, but we are not going to cover it yet. So it's good to learn
Yes.
XML because that's what the industry and practical knowledge requires in today's Android world. So we'll be covering that. So how is an layout or a view is structured? So basically, there would be a parent, a view group, and in that view group there might be some other layouts which would be extending them. Uh, as an example, if we say if we have a simple box, like which would be just a normal box which like of brown color and all those things, and now if you start adding some colors on it, you design it little bit, and then you do a gift wrapping and also it becomes a gift box. So similarly there would be some basic view which can be a empty fundamental just core unit of view, and then you extend it and then you start applying additional properties to that. So that is how a different view groups help to build your other views. So that is what we call it view. If you're coming from Flutter or maybe React background, you might be familiar with term widgets. So like button is a widget in Flutter. So similarly here we have a button, we can call it widget or we can call it a view, because button also extends some view in background, like it might be extending a text view and adding some additional clicks properties and all those things. So that is what we do in XML. So this is how your code looks like in XML. Whenever you write some code in your XML, we follow the XML tags. It is very much similar to HTML tags. So you will get auto suggestions. So don't worry like how you remember all those things. So those properties are supported by Android Studio. So here we can see there is one layout, again which is a view. So it's a linear layout. I guess something which comes like one on the top of each other or on the side of each other, like either vertical or horizontal, they are arranged one below other. So that is where we see this linear layout, where we can see a text view, and text view has some text here written here, and then we have a button has some text written here. So there are two components which we can see on this layout. So this is how you will be writing XML layout. And your XML layout is already, whenever you create a new activity, the XML layout is already linked towards your activity, which would look like something like this, like where would you be writing set content view, and in that you would be having layout and whatever the name of your layout is that you would be defining it here. So that is how your activity and view are connected. Activity part we are going to cover it tomorrow. So today we are focusing on layout. So we'll just have a look on how to create layouts and all those things. So this is the layout part. There
Chintan,
are different
before
layouts like
we
general linear layout. Yeah.
okay, so before we proceed
Mhm.
further, I think there is a question in the YT comments. He says, "Could you give tips to make a to-do list app?" So I think we would be covering all the
Yeah.
basics of UI in this session. And once we are done with it, I think we can pretty much make any app we want with the help of Google and Stack Overflow, right? So I think we can proceed further with the
Right.
session.
Right.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. Sure. Yeah. So we would be answering like his question, like how what all tips I can provide. So definitely we'll go with that. So let's cover first our UI part. So basically there would be something which is, as I mentioned, relative layout, linear layout, where linearly or like items are arranged in horizontal or vertical manner. Relative, where one item is relative to other item. And then we have different constraint like list view, grid view, and the main and the mostly widely used layout for maintaining the proper view system on each and every phone. Because if you see Android has millions of devices where phone can be from 4 inch to 5 inch to 6 inch to tabs and all those things. So make your layout more responsive as we have in web. So Android has introduced a view system which is constraint layout. So constraint layout helps you organize your view very much precisely, and it will make sure that it will look consistent on almost all of the phones. So that would be the thing. So we'll try to cover linear layout, constraint layout, and other text view buttons and all those stuff today. So yeah, let's get started. So
So
Tanay,
Chintan,
I'm going to share my screen for the Android Studio. Before that, anything else you want to ask?
yes, yes. So before we dive into the code, can you just tell them about the most commonly used layouts? Like I think in my opinion, it is relative layout, linear layout, and constraint layout, right? So have
Yes.
mastering these three uh, with these three, you can pretty much build any app, the UI for any app, right? Or
Any app, right?
is there something else
Right,
you would
right.
like to add? Great, great.
If we could talk about the layout part, then I would say, in fact, linear and constraint are enough, because relative layout gives you the same thing which constraint layout used to provide.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
so that is where constraint layout and linear layout can help you throughout. Constraint layout has some additional tags and properties you have to define. Various linear layout doesn't require much, because you already told like you are using linear, so which would be items would be either vertically stacked or horizontally. So nothing much. So yeah, I guess mastering two layouts will also help you. But yeah, definitely relative
Great,
layout
great,
is
great.
also, yeah. Great.
Yes,
And when we come to the list and all part, there are different components where you can have list view, recycler view, and all those stuff. But yeah, this is the main widely layout used are constraint and linear and relative.
yes. I think we
Yeah.
can dive into the code now. So can
Yeah.
you share your yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah. So I would be sharing my Android Studio link, and I also want to show, since participants are going to use the Android Studio for the first time, I also want to show them how to create a project in Android Studio, and what all naming convention we need to follow, and what is package name and all those things. I wanted to cover that. So yeah,
Great.
okay,
That's
I'm
really,
sharing
really
my.
great.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so whenever you want to create I guess your screen should look something similar to mine, but there might be some changes. Like, are there any projects in your Android Studio history or something like that. But anyway, so when you want to create a new project, you click on new project. So here you will get some predefined templates. So it is very easily understandable. Like this has some already a button which is there, one back button. This one has some bottom navigation and all sort of stuff. Generally, developers start with empty activity because we can then define whatever the components we want as we proceed while building our application. So yeah, you can select empty activity, or you can even try out all of those other templates as well in your project. Then you can name your project. So since we are building some my card application, I will be going to call it my card. Okay, then you will have your package name. So what is package name? So package name is the reverse order of your domain name. So suppose you have your domain name as abc.xyz. So your package will become xyz.abc dot, and then you can put some suffix. So like the WhatsApp package is called com.whatsapp. Similarly, there might be packages which we calling com.telegram.android, something like that. So it is the reverse order of your domain name. And don't worry, if you don't have any domain name, you can if you are not going to publish it on Play Store, you can use any like example.com.example, something like that. Like you can write it
Chintan, I
com.example
think
dot
Chintan, your voice is
my.
breaking.
I would like to store it in my sorry.
I think your voice was
Hello.
breaking, but it's all right now.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I was explaining about the package. I hope the I was like able to hear that. Okay, so there is a lag from my side. Let me just fix it quickly. I hope now this time it would be better.
Yes.
Okay,
It's
great. Okay,
all
cool.
right now. Yes, we can
Yeah.
proceed
Okay.
further.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, we can write it as this com dot. We can specify our domain name in reverse order, and then whatever the name of your application is, you can define where you want to store your project and all those stuff. Just a second. Yeah. Okay. So this is where you define it. Your primary language, since we are doing the Android study jam with Kotlin, so let's focus on Kotlin. So we'll select our primary language as Kotlin. This is the part where you might feel a little bit tricky, like what is this API 2324 and all those stuff. So whenever you are building an application, you want to define your like base SDK which you want to support, like base version of Android. So like you might be thinking, why not support till Gingerbread or Eclair 2.0 or something like that. But the what happens is that like the more version Android comes up with, it adds new features and new securities and new components or new view system. So if you try to go much backward, you will have to make more and more components, or maybe even sometimes add many conditions, because some features might not be supported on Android 5.0, which is Lollipop. Some might be supported on Marshmallow only. So that is where you have to decide which Android version you want to use it. uh, as per the industry system, I would say currently people go with Lollipop or Marshmallow. Why is that? Because after Lollipop, material design came into existence, where we started using material guidelines. So before that, if you try to use other properties where vector images and all that, it might be issues in supporting that. And even if you want to understand which version is what, you can click on help me choose, and you can see a window here where you can just go through all about like what all things came in Marshmallow, and what all the changes are there. So you can decide after that. Generally I prefer using Marshmallow because it is the most I like that version because it has almost the permission support well, and all those material theming and everything supports well in that. So yeah, let's go with that. And okay, there is one project in other folder.
Okay, so before we proceed further, before building a project,
Okay.
let's say you are building some project and you plan to release the app on the Play Store. So what's the
Okay.
minimum SDK you select? I mean, do you just limit it to API 25, which is Marshmallow, or do you go on to support like Android 3 or 4, something like that?
Mhm. Okay, no, I guess most of the applications which currently developers build, that generally supports after Marshmallow only. But if you are building any application for your company, they might like to go till 5.0. But
Fine. Right, right.
until unless there are big companies like WhatsApp, and they will definitely have to support that. But also what they do is every year or now and then they start deprecating those versions, because they are no
Hmm.
longer used by many users, and it's good to like switch, like, and user also keeps switching Android devices now and then.
Great, great, great. We can go further.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so now just let's finish creating our project, and then we can see much about that. It might take a while since some Gradle build process will get start and all those stuff. So yeah, it will take a while. There is one good Twitter handle on. Okay, my screen share has stopped. Oh, okay. Yeah. So it will take a while. Some Gradle build process will be running, and all those stuff will be happening. So we'll just
I
take a
think the
break in that.
screen. I think your screen is okay. It's visible. It's visible.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so I was talking that there is one Twitter handle which says MINSDK or something like that. So what happens, like till last year also I was supporting Lollipop, but from now on I'm deciding it to make my base SDK to Marshmallow, because it almost supports 85% of devices, which is my. And also it depends on your nature of application. Like if you're targeting youth, then definitely they would be having latest OSs. But if you're targeting like older age group, then you might want to add some backward compatibility. But yeah, Marshmallow is always good to go.
Great, great.
Okay, so it will take a while. So meanwhile, let's just
I think he is having network issues from his side. So it will try to fix the situation as soon as possible. Okay, so uh, he's having some network issues from his side. I think you all from your side you can follow all the steps he has been instructing. Or if you have already done that, you can just read the documentations, the ones that I have linked in the comment section. You can do that as well, and I would highly recommend you all to do it, so that you get a deeper and a better understanding of how the Android UI works. And if anybody has doubts, feel free to ask them in the comment section.
Hi Tanay.
Yes, hello.
So
So,
while Chintan's coming back, how about why don't you tell us about yourself, your journey, your experience?
okay, so as Chirayu introduced me, I am a third year engineering student, and of course, I am from TSEC. My okay, Chintan is back.
Oh, sorry.
So,
Okay, so I guess I had some internet. I don't know, today's weekend and there is some connection issues. So sorry for that. Yeah, so let me just go back live. Yeah, so I was sharing about this activity naming convention. Like, okay, so basically, when we have a Kotlin code, you can write it. Can you just add my screen? Yeah, great.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
it's
So
back.
yesterday, whatever code we studied, we can write it here. Yeah. Yeah. So whatever the code we studied about writing our my simple calci, which can be written here, and it will execute the same way like we did yesterday with compiler. Naming convention we follow here it is we start with the capital letter and then we follow camel case wherever the word is changing. For the XML, we have this thing where we have small letters and the words are separated out by using the underscore. So that is how the naming convention will follow in like Java or Kotlin files and in XML this way. And also your resources, drawables, and everything would be naming the same way. Small letters with separating out with underscore. And your main Java and Kotlin files would be starting with uppercase and will follow the uppercase with camel case thing. Okay, so yeah, this might take a while depending on your machine and how much RAM and all those things you have. So, okay, but so now our project is compiled and Gradle build has successfully completed. Even when we run on our devices, it might take a little bit of time for the first load since everything is getting in place. Yeah, so having said that, here we can see the two major thing in Android stuff, which is one is our app and other is Gradle scripts. Gradle scripts we won't be going in depth for now, but I can just tell what does Gradle do. So Gradle is the system where your dependencies and all the libraries and all those things get downloaded and loaded into your application. So like whenever you want to use some, okay, so even if we go to our Gradle file, you can see the configuration is written like minimum SDK, what will support, target SDK, then version name, then package ID of our application, all those stuff. And you can see this dependency. So now if you see that this main activity is extending in class, which is app compact activity. So where this class is coming from, like we haven't added anything. So what is happening is this library helps Android activities to build up. Similarly, we have material libraries so that we can support material components. We have constraint layout library, which helps you to add constraint layout to your application. So this is the system where you write whatever dependencies you want to include in your application. So in short, that is what about Gradle. Apart from that, if you remember, we saw that two folders, RES and SRC. So res was the resource folder where we have drawables, then we have layout, map, and values folder. So this is what we saw. In Java, you will find your package name, which we kept as com.example.mycart, and in that you will have your main activity. So this is your file where you will write your logic, and this is your file where you will be writing your UI. By default, you can see there is one component defined for us, which is text view, and this is the constraint layout. Again, as I mentioned, like nowadays we use mostly constraint layout. Why? Since it has a lot of benefits, but main thing is it keeps your layout consistent across the devices, and it will have some properties. Similarly, a text view and similarly this will have some properties. So let's understand each one by one so that we get familiar with all those components and how does it work. So first of all, where do you find all the components? Like if I remove this text view and if I'm new to the Android, so I don't know what all component exist in my application. So how do I find that? So there here we have three tabs: code, split, and design. So if we go to design tab, you can find some common components which are text view, button, image view, recycler view, and fragment container view, scroll view, etc. If you go to text, you can find text view, plain text, password, then buttons, widgets, and all those things you can find here. So suppose if you want a text view, which would be your plain text, so you can just click here, you can drag it and you can keep it somewhere here. So now if we go to the split section, you can see already a text view related code has been written for you here. In case if you are already aware with your component, then what you can do is you can simply open a tag. You can write text view. So now whenever we start with, like when we started with text view, you saw that there were two major components which we are here, like width and height. If I remove them, you can see I would be getting an error. What would be the error? Error would be insert required attribute height and width.
Chintan, your voice is breaking. I think you are again facing some connectivity issues.
Component which is height and width. Okay, in that case, I will just turn off my camera. So I guess that
Oh,
would be better.
cool, cool. Yes, 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 definitely, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, height and width are the required components. So without that, any view cannot be created. So for height, you have this two major property: wrap content and match parent. What does wrap content means? Wrap content means like whatever content like text or anything you have in your that view will be getting wrapped around. And similarly, match parent means to match the parent height and size. So suppose if I have match parent here, so you can see my text view will become whole, it will take whole screen. In case if you want to add some custom width, you can also apply it like 100 dp. So we'll just go to dpsp in a while. But now for now we are keeping it as wrap content, and there is width which is also required. We are also keeping it as wrap content. So these are the two required properties. Without that, you cannot create any views which can have wrap content or match parent or your custom sizes. Okay. So now still we can see there is some red warning here, like something is wrong here. So what's wrong is, okay, missing constraints. So what is constraint? Since we are using constraint layout, we need to tell the system that this particular text view will be will be like drawing on which position. Like since we have this x and y axis, so we want to keep our text view somewhere in center. Then we'll have to tell this view that you have to be in center of your parent. So how do we do that? So first of all, let's add some text property so that instead of just displaying like empty, we can see something here. So here we can see the text hello Android. Now I want to place it in center. So to make it in center, if you were using relative layout, it would be pretty simple. You just have to write like center in parent row. But we are using constraint, so constraint is assigned from left, right, top, bottom everywhere. So what you want to do is you want to keep it in center. So that means it should be aligned from top to bottom, and the start to end. So similarly, we'll write start. So we'll say start to start parent. Like wherever my parent is starting, I want to start off from there. Then I will say end to end of parent. So now you can see my text view is almost assigned in center, but it's horizontally assigned and not vertically. So how do I add that? So I will tell my text view has to be top to top of parent, and its bottom should be on bottom to bottom of parent. So now you can see the text view is like aligned center into the layout file. So this is how you will align it here. In case if you want to just put it somewhere here start, you can just remove the end wala tag and it will be somewhere here. So this is defined as a text view. So now if we run this application, we would be able to see a text view which would be hello Android on our phone or emulator. If you want to create an emulator, you can just go to here, no devices. You can go to Avd Manager. If it is not accessible from here, you can go to tools and you can go to Avd Manager. So Avd is nothing, Android Virtual Device Manager. You can select a virtual device which you want to create. You can select any phone which you like, Pixel 5 or something, and then you can just press next button. It will ask you to select some OSs. You will have to download this operating system. Since I have already downloaded this Oreo file, I will click on next, and yeah, I will finish my device creation. So this is how you will create your device.
Chintan, are you there?
Okay.
Oh, okay. I thought you again broke off. Okay, cool, cool.
Okay. Okay, cool. So now, yeah, so okay, so now we can see we have created emulator device. I guess my that window is not visible for the creation of emulator. Was it visible?
Not really. Wait a second. Mm,
Okay, cool. So yeah, I was showing that how to create an emulator. So let me just show it again so that participants can easily understand. Okay, so this was the window which I opened by clicking the AVD manager. And yeah, so here you can click on create new device. You can select your device model, and then you can press next button here, and then you can download the respective OS which you like. So I generally have this marshmallow Oreo and all those downloaded, but currently have those two files Oreo. So I will press next, and my this
Chintan, your
emulator will.
screen. Okay, okay, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Chintan, are you
Yeah,
there?
right, yeah. Okay,
I was just saying that your screen was, I mean, the dialogue or the prompt you were using to build the emulator. It was not totally visible. It was a bit cropped. So I think it's fine now. Yes, it's fine.
okay, got it. Okay, fine.
And
Okay.
meanwhile, sorry for interrupting, but the RVSP link for day 3 is in the comment section. So please do check it out. Yes, we can go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah, sure. So now I'm just running my emulator, and you would be seeing it soon in somewhere in Android Studio here. So it will just take a moment to load this device. So once it is connected, you can see it here. And yeah, so that's all. Like, we have added a text view for our application, and we have written some start and end properties. Once the emulator is loaded, we will run the application. How to run the application? Just like the uh, previous day, we can press the play button, and we can run the application. So let's just take a moment and wait till the phone
Okay.
gets loaded.
And
So
I hope all the attendees are able to understand each and everything. And if not, you do not need to hesitate. You can straight away ask your question in the comment section. We would definitely be addressing them. And in case everything is fine, can you all just post a thumbs up in the comment section?
yeah, okay. So yeah, guys, please post thumbs up so that we can know that okay, whatever efforts we are putting is worth. So yeah, we are running our application, and you will see some Gradle build running here. And so basically it will compile an APK, and that APK will get installed in your virtual device or even your physical device. So you can use both.
Chintan, are you there, or are you again facing some internet issues? I think he's again facing some internet issues. No worries, he will be back soon. And it's really great to know that
Yeah, I'm back.
most of the people who are watching the stream are understanding everything. So Chintan is back, and let's proceed further.
Yeah, yeah. So this Gradle build, as I mentioned, will take a couple of minutes depending on the system. And since I'm already sharing my screen and streaming and all those things are
Right,
going on,
right,
definitely
right.
processor and it will take time. Yeah. So meanwhile, let's create one more component with text view.
Chintan,
So
Chintan,
okay, so other
wait,
component.
wait a second. Before we create a component, can you just tell them about the XML namespaces like xmlns.app or Android? Can you just tell them about that?
Yeah, sure.
Just
Okay. So
give them
just
a
like,
brief.
yeah.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Go
So
ahead.
just
Go ahead.
like as we mentioned, like we have HTML tags and all those things, and we saw in Kotlin also we extend some components so that we can reuse all those properties defined by the system. Oh, okay. So meanwhile, yeah, we can see our app is running. You can see the title of app MI card, which is my card, and you can see the hello Android as a text view, which we defined here. So which is in the center of this whole parent layout. Yeah. So coming back to the answering the question which Tanmay asked, like XMLNS Android, what is this? So just let's see, if I remove this, what will happen. Okay, so if I have removed this, it is showing that namespace Android is not bound. So what is namespace Android? So it's similar to the Kotlin where we have app compatibility. So we extend that and we reuse and we override those given properties. So similarly, we have this namespace where you define what all things you are going to use. So similarly, we have Android, tools, and app. So from where these are coming? So these are coming from those locations. So if we remove any of those things, like even if you remove app, you won't be able to use app related properties, which comes bound with the constraint layout. So this is the namespace which we have to use, and whenever you create any activity layout or something, it automatically import it for you, so you don't have to do that. Yeah, so now let's create one more component, which would be the button. So since button and text are mostly used in Android applications, so let's create that. We'll create button, and again we'll use wrap content for now. But now, what if I want to add this button to the bottom of this Hello Android? How do I do that? So let's say if I just copy all those properties for keeping it in center, what will happen is my button will be minimized. Let's minimize the emulator, and let's expand this view. Okay, and yeah, so you can see my text view has gone somewhere back, and my button is on the top. And just to add some text on button, I will just say click me something. And yeah, so I have added some text on the button. But how do I make it this button to the bottom of this text view? So for that, we have some kind of ID, just like we have our name. For unique identification, we have some your college roll number and all those things. Similarly, for each component we can have an ID. So an ID will be unique, and that can be uh, that cannot be reused in the same layout file, but that can be used to refer your other views. So let's add some ID here, and we'll call it hello text view. And let's also give some ID to this button, click button. Okay, so now what we'll do is, as we have mentioned here, bottom to the bottom of parent, and we have set end to end of parent, start to start of parent, top to top of parent. So instead of keeping top to top of parent, what I will make it is top to bottom of my hello text view. So now you can see my button somewhere here, which is definitely its top is to the bottom of hello Android. But since we have already used this property bottom to bottom of parent, it will try to align it into the center of this area. And if we remove this bottom to bottom of parent, it will be exactly where we want, which is here. And now if we run the application again, you would be able to see a button here on the bottom of this hello Android. So I hope people are clear till here. If anyone is having any doubt, just put it in your comment section. Yeah, so we can see a button which we can be clicking. There would be no effect, but we can just see a button which is there on the bottom of this text view. Yeah, so now let's see some more components with this thing. Let's add an image view. So what is image view? Image view is nothing but a view where you would be showing your image. So we'll again make it wrap content, and let's give some property here.
Uh, Chintan, for this image view, can you just use the layout the designer to constrain the image? It would be really good if the
Yes,
attendees can see it, because I think
yes,
in
yes.
practice we always use the layout designer, right? For constraint layout.
Like yeah, but generally, like if once you have mastered with all those things, it is quick and easy to use the other system, because here it will take a time. Like you will have to put a view, like suppose you select an image view here, you will place it here, and let's select some default image for here. Then you will have to match this top to this way. Then you will have to bottom to the bottom of parent this way. Yeah, and then you will have the end to end this way. and then you will have start this way. So this takes time, whereas when you write a direct code, which seems little bit faster. So yeah, so like for the participants, they can definitely in beginning they can go with this. Once they have mastered all these component and they know much about it, they can also uh, do directly as well.
So once someone masters the XML or
Yeah,
whatever the components are, they always use the code, right?
type system. Yeah, yeah. They
Right,
prefer
right.
to type
Makes
it
sense. Makes sense.
and faster. So like
Makes sense. I personally,
I have never seen someone who is doing drag and drop in my
yes, yes,
others
right, right.
experience. So yeah,
I
but
I
it's good.
personally use a combination of both, but I think that's subjective. People
Yeah,
can
right,
use
right.
what they prefer. Right, right, right.
Right. Yeah. So we have both the system, whichever you like, you can follow that. So you can also drag and drop, and then as we already seen, you have to click this button and you have to align it here. You have to align it here, top to top or bottom, and you can see the code gets written automatically for you, so you don't have to worry about that. And we have also selected and image for like temporary image for our this thing. So now let's remove this and let's add some actual image. So for that I will need some image. So what I will do is I will quickly add a drawable to my current project, so that we can see. So how do we add a drawable? It's simple, like you just pick any image which is present in your gallery or in your downloads folder, and just copy it and paste it. So I'm just copying as an image here, and yeah, so I've copied my image. So now I will go to drawable, I will press Ctrl V, and I will select something profile, I will call it, and I have pasted my image. So you can see my image is here, which I just selected randomly. So now since my image is in drawable, I will have to link this image to my view here. So how do I do that? So let's see what all properties are available. So to see that, uh, you can be into this opening closing tag and press Control space bar, and then you can see what all properties are available for this particular view. So what we are looking out is this src property, which is source. So you click on that and then you say profile. Okay, so you can see that the image we define here is added here, and which is wrap content. So whatever the size of your image is there, it will take that size. If you want to make it like say 100 by 100, you just give 100 dp, and your image will become a little bigger. And if you run the application now, you would be able to see that image will come here, like in the bottom, which we define to the bottom of this button. And
Great, great.
yeah, so
Yes,
app
yes.
is running and you can see the image view, text view, and button, all of the three components which we have defined here. So yeah, so now let's understand why we have dp. Since if you are coming from other backgrounds, you might have px like pixels, but why dp? So dp is generally density in pixels. So what happens is, like in android, you have various screen sizes, and also those screen sizes have different displays. Like if Samsung has AMOLED display, so which will have more pixels in particular area compared to other phone which has very low density pixels. So that's how the android system varies. So like a 4-inch phone can have 300 by 600 something, or 1280 by 720. So that's to match that we use dp. So dp is like, if you define 100 dp here, so the same 100 dp if you check in other phone, like to check that also, let's give a quick tips. So to check that in other devices, you can have a devices list here, which you can hover here, and then you can select and device. So if we see in the 6-inch device, it becomes little bit bigger. Similarly, if you select font 5, the sizes will little bit vary. Why is happening so? Because you can see the 5-inch device has this multiple ratio, like 1080 by 1920 and all those things. So that is where it changes. So that's why here we have DP for views and margins. And in case for text you want, then for the text you will use text size and you will write is in SP. So why SP? So SP are scalable pixels. Like suppose if some users are there, they have kept their font sizes to very very long or maybe very very huge. So that will happen. Then the application, whichever they are using, the application should also reflect those sizes. So if you use DP in sizes, your text won't get scaled. So you have to use SP for scaling your text sizes and DP for your other image sizes. So let's quickly remove all those things and put everything together and create something which can be shown to our friends and family, so that you can show that okay, you have learned something new today. So I'm just removing all those things. Okay, and yeah, so now we have this empty layout. Let's give some background color for this. So to give that, I will just write background and I will see what all colors we have defined here. So you can see this colors files are defined here. I will like to use this till 200. So I will write here till 200. Okay. And now I want an image view in center. So again, as Tanay mentioned, he likes icons. So I will go with that and let's put an image view here. Now this time we have this actual profile. So we'll select that and we'll make it okay. So this top should be here, this end okay, this end should be here, and the start should be here. So now our image view is assigned already, and great, good to see that we have our image view in place. Let's make it 200 dp so that it will become too big. So let's make it 150 dp so that it is visible quite good. Okay, and we'll name it as profile image view. Okay, and yeah, so our image view is ready. I want it somewhere here in center, so I will need to also mark it its bottom as somewhere here. Great. Okay, this is center, it's looking good. But again, what if I could keep it somewhere here? Okay, great, this is better. So yeah, so by using this you can also rearrange it little bit up and down here. Now I want a text view in the bottom of that. So how do I do that? We write text view, we do write a wrap content, and we'll write some text which would be name, my name. So I will just write Chintan Parmar. Then I will give some text sizes to make it a little bit bigger. Let's give it 28 sp. And other properties what we need is we can add it here. Okay, so let's select this thing and the the bottom I want to keep it somewhere here. Okay, start should be here and should be here. And let's see. Okay, so we have those property written here. Top to bottom of profile image and start to end is written here. Great. Let's remove those things. Okay. Okay, cool. And yeah, but you can see these both the views are getting stick to each other, which is not looking that good. So how do we avoid that? So for that we have two things which we can do is margin and padding. So what is margin? So margin is given for the outer area and padding is given for the inner area. So I want to separate this out. So I will give some margin top, which will be my 20 dp. So you can see this 20 dp space has been taken from top. If I give it 40 dp, there would be little bit much more space here. So yeah, let's keep some spaces there, and we can also add some text styling. So we can say text style and make it bold so that it looks pretty. And yeah, we can also give some text color. So we'll write text color, and let's give it black color. Okay, great. So black color is looking good, and this is the text view we added. And now we want one more text view, but first, before with that, we'll give some ID. We'll name it as name text view. I am just going to copy paste this, and then we'll add some property. Instead of name, this I will write is now as profile text view, like what work I do. So suppose I will remove this, and
Chintan, I think you are on mute.
oh, okay, okay, yeah, right. So this is where I added some property. I changed the property text style from bold to italic, and I will reduce my text size to 20 sp. And the color, what else we have here? We have purple color. Let's put it for now, and this would be top to bottom of my name text view. Okay, so now you can see our Android developer is added. Margin top, we can reduce it to 20 dp, or maybe 10 dp would be good. Yeah, 10 dp is fine. And yeah, so now let's just run the application and see the changes, how and what it's going to reflect, so that we can have an idea. Okay, sometimes you might have to reinstall the application. It's
Application, right, right.
yeah. Okay, so this is what we are expecting. We have added this image view here. We have added our text view. We have added profile, and now let's add a button which will say call. So like in case someone wants to call us, we will add a button which will be calling as. We'll put some text, contact, and we'll provide some number here. And again, how do we align this view? We'll go to design. We can see this button is here. I want to keep the bottom somewhere here. Top should be bottom of my this profile, and should be here, and my start should be here. And I want to make it somewhere here. Okay, so you can see the already those properties are defined for us, and we will give some unique ID for this button, which would be contact button. And now if we run the application, we should be able to see that as well. So let's have a look.
Wow, that really looks neat.
Yes, and if you want to change the button color, you can set the background, and you can have a white color button, and on that you can have some text which would be of purple color. So you can do that as well. And if you run the application again, you can see that changes, like your button will should become white and text should become purple. Okay, so our text color should have been purple, but we can't see that why it's happening. So we already defined our background. Let's just see what's wrong here. Okay, so if something happens to you like this in future, what you will do? So for that, what you can do is you can always head over to material.io website, and you can learn about the properties which are provided by material buttons. So if if you head over to that, you will see that instead of background
Background
color
tint,
directly,
right, right.
yeah, you have to use background tint. So yeah, I will show you that also, like what all the resources you need to keep in future. for all those things which you are learning. So this is how your button will look, and it would be clickable. Nothing would be happening for now, but yeah. So these are the
Great,
views
great.
which you have learned, and let's quickly also understand the other layout which I already promised, which was linear layout. Since we
Before that, Chintan, before that, I think I hope everybody is getting whatever has been demonstrated by Chintan, and if not, do not hesitate to ask your doubt, or else drop in the chat.
Yeah, I guess yesterday we had a lot of doubts in Kotlin, but today,
Exactly.
yeah, I see less doubt, I guess. So this is very straightforward, and participants are actively
Yes.
understanding those things. So that's really great. So cool. So now let's replace this constraint layout with linear layout and see what is the difference. So I'm just going to change the tag to linear layout. And as I mentioned earlier, we need to set it orientation, which can be either horizontal or vertical. So since we want items to be vertically stacked, we'll add vertical. And now you can see some magic here. All the things which were defined for constraint layout, if I remove them, still my layout will look, all those things would be in linear. So why this will happening is, okay, so let's remove all the tags which we added earlier, and let's see what is going to change. So you can see nothing has changed. It's just like all the things are somewhere start and top, but all the items are aligned vertically. Like this image view is there, then after that the naming is there, then after that contact is there, and all those things are there here. Okay, so this is how the items are linearly aligned without any properties. Like even if you remove all those IDs also, your layout would be still looking the neat and clean. So what to use when? This would be your question. So generally it's not like that ki you have to use this only or that only. It depends on the depends on the layout design which you have been given by the designers. So suppose in my case, what I would be doing is I would use a constraint layout as a parent, and then we'll align it this, and then to keep this three component like two text view and one button, I will put it into a linear layout so that I don't have to write those additional properties of five lines and that. So that will save my time. So that is where you use always combinations of layout. So every layout has its unique advantages. So yeah, you can choose whichever you like depending on your use cases. So yeah,
So,
that's it I
Chintan,
wanted to show in Android Studio.
so Chintan, basically most of the time we use the constraint layout as a parent, and inside them we keep on using linear layout or a relative layout as per our needs, right? Am I right?
Right, like even some cases you will also need grid layout. Like suppose if we had
Right.
something like we had your name text view, and then we had Chintan Parma, then we had a profile, then we had your contact. So in that case, six items would be there. So keeping that items, we have to keep it them in a grid. So that case we also can also use grid layout as well. So that is like which layout when to use, it depends after you understand your use case properly.
Right, right. Uh, Chintan, are you there
Yeah, so
or?
once you
Yes.
understand your, yeah, so once you understand your use case properly, you can use it whatever layout you like. So let me just show the
Your
material,
voice is
the
your
IO thing which I
voice
was
is
talking about,
breaking.
so that participants can also head over to. Okay, is it proper now?
Yes, yes, it's all right. No?
Okay, okay, cool. So I'm just stopping my Android Studio so that it would be a little bit better. Okay. and I'm sharing my window again. Yeah. So whenever you want to learn about some components in Android and material, you can head over to this website material.io, and you can go to components, and there you can find all the components. So since we focus on Android, we can go to Android, and we can select any components like which and what to use when, so that you can also find a brief description like checkboxes allow the users to this and that. So if we go to buttons, you can learn about the buttons like what all types of buttons are available in this, like contained, outline, text button, and all those things. And you can also find the tab for implementations where you can learn about this all the properties of buttons particularly. You can also find the implementation of yeah. So this is like whenever you're stuck, just go to this website and find all those components and properties, so that you don't get stuck whatever you are designing or creating. So yeah, I guess that's it for today. Like I wanted to share all those UI parts only, most of them, and I do know extremely sorry for that. Like my internet connection was kind of very weird today, but I hope you might got the learning. In case you have anything doubts, just put it there in the comment section, or we are on WhatsApp group as well, so you can ask over there also.
So it was a really a great session. Thanks a lot for speaking and demonstrating these Android fundamental UI concepts. And I hope all the attendees have totally grasped whatever was demonstrated today. If not, as I am saying for the 100th time today, they can feel they are free to ask in the comment section. And I guess that is it.
Yeah, sure. So if anyone has doubt, we can just wait for a couple of minutes, and
Right,
else
right,
we can
right,
conclude the session. Yeah.
right. So, okay, so before I think most of them have grasped it, I do not see any comments. But Chintan, can you tell them about styles and themes in Android? Can you just tell them in brief about it? Because I guess in practice we use styles and themes rather than hard coding colors in our UI files, right?
Sorry, I missed out. Can I?
Uh, so I was talking about the styles and themes. Like for example, we if we have a if we have a huge app, and if you and the app
Okay.
definitely has many colors. So instead, so we would have to uh, like specify the color in each and every file and in each and every component. So that would definitely be very tedious and not feasible. So can you tell them about the concept of styles and themes in Android? In just tell them in brief,
Yeah, sure,
if
sure.
that's possible. Great, great.
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure. I can tell them about this resource type basically. So since we already saw about the, the resource and values folder, which we already saw, there was some colors related file. So just hovering to official docs, and then if possible, I will just open my Android Studio again and will show them. Okay, so there is one something called style resources. So style is like a overall parameter or style, which is okay. Can someone just share my? Can you just pin my screen?
Great. I'll do that. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
It should be up soon. Yes, it's there. It is.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. So what is a style? A style is so that defines the complete look of your UI. So where it is stored in resource values, and there would be a file called styles. Styles.xml is your basically file, which will have this style tag. So it is also written in XML, and then you define your style something like this, whatever the properties there. So this is just a very brief intro about styles as per the documentation. How is it an Android Studio? I will show you that. So that I'm just opening my Android Studio. I hope it's loaded. Okay, great. Yeah, it's getting loaded, but we can have a look. Then, Tani, can you just add the screen? Yeah, great.
I think I have added.
So
Yes,
my
yes,
Android
yes.
Studio is getting load. Yeah, great. So it might take a minute or so, something like it's little bit slower. So yeah, whenever you are using Android Studio, make sure to use less tab as much as possible because it
Yes, I
takes
totally
lot of
understand. I totally.
yeah.
It's resource intensive, right? Right.
Yes, yeah. So it's a very good and powerful ID, but again, so with great
Definitely,
power
definitely.
comes great responsibilities.
Right.
Yes, that is the case. Okay. Yeah, so I'm trying. Okay, oh, it's blackout. I'm just closing it and trying to relaunch. So I'm going to share it again. Just add it to. Okay, cool. So
Great.
we can see our colors and related files here. Yeah. So I'm just going to expand this completely. Yeah. So in RES, we have this drawable file, a drawable folder, then we have layout, map, and values. So what values is stored? It's going to store your themes and styles related file. Uh, Now, depending on your project you would be working, like if you're working on some older project, Android related, which were already built before Android Studio version, I would say some 4 or something. So at that time, we didn't have this two separate themes options. One was dark and light. We had only one option for that, which was styles.xml. But currently, we have two options, which is the dark theme and light theme. So if you open this theme, you can see the styles here. So the style extends the parent, which is theme.material components.d9.dark action bar, and this would be extending material components d9.dark action bar. And here we are defining our brand color. So here the color which you see as a light might be here in dark. So if you just pay attention to this color, which is on the line 5, you can see here it is light, here it is darker. Similarly, here color is white, here color is black. So depending on your project structure, you will define the colors here. And in case, as we already defined this background tint here, in if I remove this, my default color will be purple. So if I want to change that purple color to throughout the application, I can just override it here, and the color will reflect in our all the project. So you can see it's become white. And similarly, here if we find related about the secondary color, so if we change it to something else, you can see that it's changing here as well. So you have to study like which color represents what, like what is color primary variant, and all those things. Yeah, but as Tanay asked, yeah, all those properties are stored in either themes.xml or styles.xml, depending on the project configuration. Like most of the apps nowadays have dark and light theme, but there are many apps which still have a single theming structure. Yeah, that is where we can find that.
So I
I
think
guess,
that is it. I
yeah,
think there's
Tanay, we
a
have
doubt
a
in the comment.
yeah, right. We have
There's
one
a doubt
question
in the
there.
comments.
Yeah, right. So, which database will you recommend other than Firebase for beginners? Okay. Firebase is definitely a very good database where you don't have to write much code for the backend and easy to integrate. There is one more open source database similar to Firebase, which is Supabase. If you have heard about it, Supabase, which is good, comparatively similar to Firebase, and also they provide a lot of good support. And in case if you don't even want to go with that, then creating your own backend is always a good thing. Like you can have your own database and own APIs, but that will require a little bit of more efforts. But yeah, if you want to make a scalable and good application, you can go with that. If you are building some demo or small application where it is just a demo app, you can what you can do is you can also create a JSON file, put it in your GitHub repo, and you can just load it via retrofit or something. So that would be also fine. And if you are again create a demo application, there are lots of free APIs available related to movies, Pokemons, and dictionaries and news and all those things. You can just use them. So this would be a good go option for that, Prathamesh.
And do we have any more doubts? We'll just wait for a minute. And in case anybody has any more doubts, they can feel free to ask. And meanwhile, we have also put the link to the feedback form, and you all are requested to fill it out so that we can know how the session was. And in case you did not like it, uh, please do state the reason why, and also let us know what we can improve upon. The feedback form is in the comment section. So, and I guess there are no more doubts. I think we can conclude our session here.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And yes, the RVSP for tomorrow is pinned. So please do check that out. Thanks a lot. And
Thank you
Chintan,
guys for joining. Yeah.
Chintan, if you have not already uh, linked your socials yesterday, can you please do it today in the comment section? The link to your Twitter or GitHub handles. It would be really great for the participants to
Yeah,
follow you
sure.
on. Yes, great.
Yeah. So you can reach me out on my Twitter handle, which you can see on my screen, which has assigned to the name, which Chintan R Parmar. You can also visit my website, which chintanparmar.com, where you can find all the social handles and all the work I do and my experiences there. So yeah, you can find it there as well. So Tanay, you can just drop it chintanparmar.com, and LinkedIn, Twitter, and all those GitHub are Chintan R Parmar. As one of the participants have reached out for sharing the code, so I would be also sharing this project. Maybe I will just zip it and I will share it into the group, so other participants can also get access to it.
Great, great. And I think that is it. Uh, Yash, regarding the Mad Club recruitments, last year it was in Jan Feb. So this year I expect it to be in the same time between Jan and Feb. So I think that's it. We do not have any more doubts, and we can. I think we all can drop off. Thanks a
Yeah.
lot for attending this session. It was a great pleasure to have you all and share our knowledge to you all. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
And thanks a lot, Chintan, for demonstrating various concepts regarding UI in Android. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Thank you.